Drogon hatched from his egg along with his two siblings, Rhaegal and Viserion, in 299 after the conquest, when he emerged from the flames with Daenerys Targaryen, that thereafter would be known as the Mother of Dragons. The dragons were born after Daenerys burned the corpse of her former husband, Khal Drogo, and sacrificed Mihi Maz Duur, the Lhazareen witch, as only death could deliver new life. From an early age, Drogon showed much more aggressive behavior than his brothers, being by far the boldest and most vicious of the lot. His egg was as dark as midnight, alive with scarlet ripples and swirls, as was his scales. When Daenerys and her dwindling khalasar arrived in Qarth, her dragons became the sensation of that ancient and marvelous place, and Drogon was the one on her shoulder when they went through the ancient city gates. When the queen received word from the ship captain Kurumo regarding the death of Robert Baratheon, her old foe, Drogon was sitting on her lap, and the excitement of his mother made him hiss, with pale smoke coming out of his nostrils, encircling Daenerys' face like a veil. When Daenerys goes inside the House of the Undying, the HQ of Qarth's mages and warlocks, Drogon was the only dragon accompanying her. Once inside, Drogon reacts to his mother's emotions as she witnesses her visions. When the warlocks attack Daenerys, targeting to use her power to boost their own, Drogon intervened and defended her, attacking the pulsating heart that stood in the center of the main chamber, the source of the sorcerer's power, thereby slaying them all. This allowed Daenerys to escape the house and to go back to her khalasar, and Drogon's attack seemed to have damaged considerably the house's structural integrity as well. By the time Daenerys and her companions leave Qarth, Drogon is slightly larger than a small dog, and his siblings are even smaller, so they do not pose a considerable threat to their mother's enemies just yet, and must therefore be protected at all costs. When they arrive at Astapor, Daenerys wishes to buy every single Unsullied available there, to release them from their bondage and to acquire an army at the same time, but she does not have the necessary funds to do so she offers the good masters of the city Drogon as payment for most of the Unsullied she intends to buy, and they all agree. However, once she had acquired the whip that signifies she was not in complete control of the slave soldiers, she shouted "Dracarys," giving Drogon the command to attack Krasny's Monaclos with fire, starting the rebellion against the masters and freeing every single slave in Astapor. Much time later, after the fall of Yunkai and the conquest of Meereen by Daenerys' army, Drogon and his brothers started getting a little too comfortable in the city, and one day, a farmer came up to the Silver Queen, holding a bag full of little blackened bones. That was Hasea, his daughter, who was hunted, set on fire and then devoured by Drogon, who the farmers referred to as the Winged Shadow. That shocked Daenerys so much that she ordered that her 3 dragons were arrested and imprisoned beneath the Great Pyramid. However, Drogon, who was considerably large then, managed to escape the Unsullied, and flew away from Meereen for a while. Drogon would only be seen in Meereen again after the reopening of the fighting pits of the city. When Daenerys was witnessing the games at that next pit, Drogon came, attracted by the slaughter and the smell of blood, and began terrorizing everyone there. The Meereenese citizens began to flee, in terror, but Daenerys stood there, alone, and started giving Drogon orders, while holding a whip to try and intimidate the creature. When an animal handler of the arena called Argas tried to attack Drogon, piercing him in the side, the dragon became furious, and only Daenerys were able to stand before him. After much shouting and some hardness, and after losing her hair and clothes to Drogon's flames, Daenerys was able to mount him, and both flew away from Meereen, heading to the Dothraki Sea once more. Sometime later, Daenerys and Drogon were in a place the queen named Dragonstone, in recognition of her birthplace, and after Drogon had killed and devoured a horse in the plains, they were both found by the khalasar of Khal Jakku.